I'm so excited to win a first place prize in Celebrate Ag. I have entered this contest 4 or 5 times before and gotten an honorable mention once. But because we live in such an agricultural area and because agriculture is one of my favorite painting topics, this contest is really special to me, and I'm very honored to have been chosen in the crops category. So I've been gardening since I was a child, and it's one of my very favorite hobbies. Maybe takes a close second to painting. And I grew these tomatoes and these roses, and it was a glorious morning, which is what I named the painting, meaning that the sun was shining and the tomatoes were ripening and the smells were good. And I just set up this still life out in my yard. The sugar dish is a Depression-era glass sugar dish that I have inherited from my grandmother, who was very special in my life, so I included it in the painting. And it just sparkled in the sunlight, and everything just came together, and I had to paint it. Yeah, I also entered a piece called Jack's at Work. Because I live in North Fork, the lumber industry is very prevalent in our culture up there. And I really admire these men, mostly men, young men, who go up into the forest and they're taking down all those dead pine bark beetle trees that we have so many of now, and it's helping to make our area more fire safe. So I painted a couple of them. We also have an annual Loggers Jamboree, and the reference I worked from was from the Loggers Jamboree. The things these guys do with logs, just amazing. And in the Loggers Jamboree, women and men both compete. They saw, they climb, they work with hatchets, they work with long saws, and they are amazing. And we have a local young man who's actually competing worldwide now. His name is Nate Hodges. And he grew up in our town. He's a role model for the younger kids. He owns an axe throwing shop now where you can practice your own axe throwing skills. He competes in other countries and comes out in the top 3 every time. So he's in that painting. If you ever get a chance to come to the Loggers Jamboree, it's well worth a visit. I display my work at the Yosemite Gateway Art Center. It's on Highway 41 in Oakhurst. I also have lots of art at Jenny's Garden, a small shop in North Fork, and it also hangs in the restaurant La Cabana in North Fork. I have a website, marybeth-harrison.pixels.com. So I also will show you my work in person if you ever want to come see it. So I belong to a small group of artists that support each other. We meet once a month and go over what we're working on and give each other challenges to work on. And one of our members was in a car accident, was not able to bring her piece to the agriculture show, so I told her I'd pick it up and bring it. It was a Sunday morning. I had heard that a fire had started kind of over toward the Shaver area, which is not real close to North Fork, so I wasn't that worried. I headed over to Oakhurst to pick up her art piece and had plans to visit the art gallery afterwards, to visit another friend who was painting that day at the gallery. And before I could even pick up her piece and get back to my house, my husband had called and said, "The creek fire is spreading towards North Fork. You need to get home. We probably are going to evacuate immediately." And that turned out to be the case. It was a scary time, but our town came through well, and so did my home. And I did evacuate with my friend's art piece. I had to leave most of my art behind, but I evacuated with her piece and kept it very safe through the evacuation. And Jim here at the Madera Gallery was kind enough to let me bring it late to the show. I have been painting a lot during the pandemic. In addition, I just retired from teaching in June, so my time is much more free now. I call my painting business Sweet Home North Fork because living in a small town in the country, in the mountains, was a lifetime dream for me that came true, and I have lived there now since 1992, and I am still just as fascinated with the scenery there as I was when I moved there. It smells good in the morning. It's beautiful to paint. The people are friendly. You can't go out without seeing people you know. Just what you always hear about small towns. And I encourage you to come take a look someday. We've got a couple of great restaurants. We've got some really cool stores. We've got Bandit Town, if you've never been there, is a very neat place to visit. And it's right on the way to Bass Lake and Yosemite. So come by. Every year I produce a calendar of my artwork. So my 2021 calendar will feature the things that I have painted this year during COVID. Yeah, I don't repeat paintings from previous years. It's 90% North Fork and area scenery, but there is one painting in there from Fresno, the water tower, and one from Monterey, just because that's another favorite place of mine, and the colors are so amazing there, they beg to be painted. I'm Mary Beth Harrison. I live in North Fork, California, just south of Yosemite, and near the area people come to visit Bass Lake, if you know that area.